Hello everybody, this is just going to be a live stream of me playing some Solid Void Topsy Turvy World, which is a Picross / puzzle game, or jigsaw puzzle I mean, where we have to make the grid and then put the puzzle pieces into it, or make the puzzle and then try and work out how they fit into the Picross grid. It can go both ways sometimes. This game was provided to me by Inari PR, so thank you to them. I am now partnered with Inari PR, which is wonderful for me. But, yes, genuinely, I'm delighted to be partnered with them. Okay, so let's see. So I'm starting the recording on the 8x8 group. Okay, so let's start. Let's do. Okay, so we've got. Well, that's 2 and 5. That has to be there because it's the only possible place. So 2 and 3, lock those in. Now that's got to be a 2 because of that 2 there. So we can plink that in. That's got to be a 1 either way. So that's going to be 2. That's locked off. That's locked off. That's going to be a 2 for each of those because that is a 3 there, which means that one has to be there. So that has to be a 3 going into that. Because that's a 2, that can't be, and that can't be, and that can't be. So we've got that there. That's a 3. So that logs that into place. Now, that one has to be part of the 3, because if it was the 1, there isn't a space down here for 3. So we know that that can't be. And we know that that might be. Actually, yeah, those have to be because they're 4s. So that locks those into place. That locks that into place. That locks that into place. And that's there because that's a 3. That's a 1, so that locks that into place. That has to be part of the 2 on the left, so that can't be there. So we now know that those 2 are part of the 3, and that can go there like that, which gives us the 2 for the middle there, which locks that into place. Because that's a 1, we know that can't be, so that has to be. So that locks that into place. That locks those into place, which gives that a 3 and gives that a 3 as well. So there's our solution. Now we can put the puzzle pieces together. So we know that that's going to go there because that is the only piece that it can possibly go. We know that that goes there. Right, where's the 3x3? There it is. Right. There we go. Now that one's going to go there. And then we have that, which has to go there because it's no other place it could possibly go. That could go there or it could go there. Clearly it goes there. Right, we've got that bit, so that has to go there. This is going to be the other one, which goes there. We've got that long straight one, which is going to go there. This is going to go the top left corner. And that's going to go there, because logic. Okay, let's see what we've got. So we've got 3 space 4. So we know that one has to be there. We know that's got to be part of the 4, so that can't be. So, that could be there. Right. Now we know that has to be 3 because 1 space 3 doesn't fit there. So we know that's going to be a 1 because of that. So we've got a 4 there. We can't do anything with that. It could be there for that, but we'll have to wait for that. So we've got a 3 and a 2. So because we've got a 3 and a 2, that is the earliest space it could be, right? And then this is the latest space it could be. So that means that we know that one has to be a black. So we've got that there. So we now know that that is going to be a 1. Because it can't be the 2 because that isn't going to have space. And because we know that's there, that's going to be locked off. So that can't be the 3, which means we know that those 2 have to be the 3. So that's going to go there. That's going to give us that and that. We'll lock that off. Now, that has to be the 2 So that's going to lock that off, and that's going to give us that there and those because of those two 2s. Now we know that that one is a second 2 because of that, so that must be the 3, which locks that off there and gives us that row. So we got that one could go there. We don't know yet. However, we know that that one goes there because of that, and because that has to be the 4, that blocks that off because that was a 1, which means that therefore means that one has to be the 2 because of that. So that locks that off. Now, because we blocked these off, we know that that's going to be a 3, so that can plink that there. We've already got the 2, 1, so that's there and that's there, so that's those rows done. We've got 1, 2, 1, so that's that row done. We've got this column done because of that 1 there. So we're left with 2 and a 2, which has to be there, so that locks that off. We've got a 3, which we still don't really know the answer to. Yes, we do. 3 and 1, so that's going to go there like that. That locks that like that. We've got that one there, so that's going to ding that. Okay, so we have that going here. We got this dude's face. Why are all old school paintings just horrible to look at? Like, they just look dreadful, don't they? Right. I mean, admittedly, not as much artistic skill as there was, as there is nowadays, which is now getting eroded by AI. Pay your artists, everybody. Don't go to AI. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Okay, so we've got a 2 and a 4. So 2, 4, that's the minimum, and then it could be there. So we know that those 3 have to be black, and we know that that one has to be black. We don't know about the others, but we know they are black. So because we know they are black, we know we can plink those there, because we know that they have to be the 1. So we then know if we were to do 1 and 2, it could be there or it could be there. So we now know that those 2 have to be the black. So let's see, what do we got? Okay, so because that's a 4 coming from the side, we know that that must, or those 3 must be blacks at least. So that locks those into place. Now, because that's locked those into place, we know that we can't put 2 space 1 there, so the 2 has to be there. So that locks that into place. And because that's there, that locks that 2 to there. So that locks that into place, and there's our 4. Because that's a space there, we don't know. We know it can't be because of the 2 there. So 1 has to be there, but it could be part of the 3, or it could be part of the 1. But we do know that because that is part of the 3, those can't be. So that's that answered, and that gives us the 2 at the blacks there on the right. So because we are looking for a 4, we know that that one must be part of that 4 because it literally can't not be. So because we've got that there and we know that that's a 1, that has to be the 1, so that has to go there, and that's the black there, and because that's the 3, we've got 1 for there for the 2, so that has to be there, which locks that into place and locks that into place. So because we've now got 4 spaces left, the middle 2 must be part of that 3. And because that's 4, 1, those lines lock out. So that means we've got a 1, which could go here, or it could go here and go there. We don't know yet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, which means those must be black because they can't not be. And because we know that's a 1, that's going to lock that off into place, and that's going to lock that off into place. So because we've got 2 and a 2 and 6 spaces, we can't do anything there yet. Actually, could we? No, we can't. Okay, so we've got 1 has to go there, 1 has to go there. Right, 1 could go there, 1 could go there. Right, so let's check our pieces. So we know that we're looking for that piece. So that's probably going to go there. And have I done a mistake here? Quite possibly. No, it's just there. I just didn't see it. Right, so now what can go there? We've got that. We've got that, which can't go there. We've got this, which can't go there. So we've got... I think that might go there. That does look like it goes there. So if that does go there, that means that that is going to be that, and that is going to be that. Like that. That does look quite accurate, doesn't it? So if that's true, that's going to have to go there. So that locks that 3 into place, which locks that into place. So that was a blank. So we now know that those are 2, which gives us our 4. And that one has to be a 1. So that gives us that. That gives us our 2 there. We've got 1, that. That has to be a 2 because of that. So that gives us that. And we have to have a 2 there because of that. So we've got 2, 1, 1, which links that up. 2, 1, which links that up. And we had 2 there, so that has to be there like that, and that has to go like that. So now we've got this piece, we can put that there. And 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 put this here. So that's how we work out these puzzles logically. And when we can't do any more, we switch over to the jigsaw segment to see what's left. Okay, so we have an 8, so we automatically know that this piece, which is the only 8 piece, goes here. So that locks that up. And that locks that row up as well. Oops. Correct myself. There. Right, so we know that can't connect, so that has to be there. Right, so we have a 4, which we can't detect. We've got a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, so that's going to be there. There's nothing else that I think we can place into position here. So now we need to have a look at some of these bits here. That goes like that. So that locks those like that. Now, so that means because that's in there, that's going to give us a 2 and a 1 there. Now, that gives us that. We've still got 1 and 2. We can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with that. Okay, but we do know that that isn't part of that because it can't reach. So, because 1 and 3 can't go there, we know that that... Oops, not those two. We know that that has to be the 3. So, let's get our next piece. That looks like a bit of a weird piece. Okay. What could we do with this? I think that might go there like that. Oh, it can't. No, it can't. So we do need a 4 piece, which actually could be like that. That looks like it might actually work. So we'll keep that there for now. Right. Does that go in there like that? Yes, it does. Okay, so we know those go together. Which way? God knows. Okay. Right. Why is Inspector Gadget in my head? So it could be this. That does look like it goes there, doesn't it? If we didn't have these massive gaps between the pieces, we would be able to know if the pieces go there like that. I think that does. Because that does fit together pretty well, actually. So, dink, 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 dink. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But we'll call that there. So, then we need a long piece, which is probably... No, it's not going to be that piece. Can we even put a piece down there? Yes, we can. That does look right. Okay, so I'm going to call that there. So that's our 1, 3. So that's going to put that there. So because we know that they can't be put together, so those have to be because they're in the middle of those bits. So they have to be black. So that means that that has to go there. And because that goes there, we know that those are plain, because you have to have alternating pieces. Because we know that that is an alternating piece, that has to be black. And there isn't any singular pieces, so we know that that has to be black. And because we've got that, we've got 1, 2, which means that goes there. We've got 1 and 2, so we know that that goes there. So if that's true, that fits there. Fantastic. That goes there. And I'm going to guess that that's going to be like that. And going to go here. And that's going to go there. And that's where we get our other bits. Working it out using both kinds of gameplay. Oh, maybe that goes the other way around. Oh, hang on. I've got that wrong way around. There we go. It's very, very hard to tell on some of these if you've got them the right way around, because the colours are just so intermittently mixed. Okay, so we've got a 6. So we know that those 4 must be, because they can't not be. We know that those 2 have to be. That can't be, and that can be, because of that 2 and that 1. So because we know that that's a 2, that's going to end that there, which means that one has to be a black. So that means that's going to be a 2. Now, because those are 3 and 2, we know that they can't be right there. Because we know that that one's guaranteed, that one can't be, because that's a 1, so that puts that 5 there. Okay, so now we just need to see which piece fits, and it's that piece, so that one has to be the black, which puts that there like that. Outstanding. Right, so because we know we're looking for a 2 there, it can't be that, so that one has to be there. That one has to be that, and that has to be that. So where's our long boy? This bit. Because we know that is going to go there. Hang on, have I got this wrong? Have I got the wrong piece? Yes, I have. There we go. Now, because we know those are blanks, that has to be the black. And that has to be, because that's our 6. So this is going to go around. Oh, that's going to go around that way, isn't it? Now, so that has to be that there, and that has to be there. Now, because we've got that, and that must be blank, and that's going to be blank as well, because that's the end of that. So we've got this here, which is going to go here, and I have a feeling that this is probably going to do something like that, and it does. So that's going to go dink, 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 which means that one, that one, that one, and they have to be black. That's black, and that's black. Logic. Right. Okay, well, we know there's nothing there, so that has to involve an 8 piece. So that will give us our start. So that's going to go there, which means that has to be black, and that has to be black. So that's going to go there. That solves that. There's no problem there. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. That's going to be a 3 because of those. That's a 2. That's a 4. That's correct. That's also a 2. That can't be because of that. So these must be black, because that's there, and that's there, and that's there for those 2s. That has to be there. That's going to be like that. We're going to have a 2 there and a 2 there, because that's going to deal with that up there. That's going to plink that and put that into place. So we need that piece, which is going to go there. So we also need this piece, which is going to go there. We need our little square. Where is it? There it is. And we need the 2x3, which is going to go here, which leaves us just these pieces. Now we've got a heckin' chonker there. So let's work out that's got to be like that. So that's gonna be that, which means that has to be that, and that has to be that. So that's probably going to end up like that for that. Ding, ding, ding. And so that's going to be blank, blank, black, 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 ding. Have I got that the wrong way around? Yes, I have. Right. Okay, well, there's only one 5-bit guaranteed here, supposedly, but because it's a 5, those two have to be, and that has to be, and that can't be. That's going to be a 1, so that's going to be like that. Okay. Now, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, that guarantees those positions. That's going to be a 1. So we've got 2 and a 4. So because that can't be part of the 4, and if we did that there wouldn't be space there. So we know for a fact that that one has to be the 4, the 2 and the 4 like that. We know that. Now, because that's the bottom, that's got to be a 2, and that's got to be a 2. Now, so that's going to link that there. That's going to be a 3, which ends that. So which that can't go there. So that has to be the 1. So that can't be there. So that means 2 space 1, which that gives us our 5. Now we've got a 2 there and a 2 there. We're not sure if it's there or there yet. So let's work this out. That has to be the 3. That can't be that. So we have a 3 and a 2. That must be there because it can't not be. And because that's there, we know that's part of the 3. And because that's part of the 3, that has to be the 1 and that has to be the 3 going like that. So we've got the 1, 1 and then the 2. So that locks that into there, which means that can't be that either. So because that now must be the 2, that has to go there like that, like that, and like that, and like that, and like that, and like that. That gives us the 2 there, and that gives us the 2 there for the complete solution. Oops. Could that be the other way around? Let's just double check. Yeah, it was the other way around. Okay. T-block goes there. It does feel great when you can work them out via logic using both, not only just the Picross, but the puzzle itself as well. I think that goes there. Yes, it does. Right, where's that? That's going to go there. Right, next red bit is going to go here. We've got this bit that has to go there. Got this bit which has to go over here. Got a dude's arm here. Loves those there. And puts that there. And puts that there. Okay, so we've got a 7 in an 8 grid, so we know those are correct. And because that can't be a 3, we know that that's the 1, and it has to be like that. Same for those. We know that has to be a 1 because it can't be the 2. Now, that can be a 2, so we know this has to be part of the 4, so that has to go there. And we can't put a 2 there, so it has to be that. Now, it could be there, or it could be there. We don't know yet. That has to be the gap. So that has to be a 3, so we can't put anything off of that. That's a 1, so we can do that. So we can now put that 3 there like that. Now, because we've got another 3, that's going to come up there, and that gives us the bottom ones for those two. So, now, we know that's got to be a 3. That's the 2. So there's our 3 there. That gives us the 2, and that gives us that, which means that has to be the 3. So that gives us the 4 and the 2 there. So we've got that coming out there. We've got the 1, and we can't put 1 and a 2 there, so that must be the 2. Whoops. So we've got 1, which means that one can't be. So we now have 2 and a 2 there. So that's the 2, so there's only 1 there. So that can't be the 2. So that has to be the 3. So we know that that can't be, and that must be. So because of that, we've got that. We've got the 3 going down there, which plinks that off and plinks that off. So we've got 2, 2, which locks that off. That. Then we've got the 3 there. 2, 1, 1, that's fine. 1, 2, that's fine, and there's your answer. So we can start with this now. Not sure if that's the right way around. Might have to flip that. I legitimately can't tell if that's the right way around or not. I think it's that one. Right, where's the other T block? There it is. Might have to flip that block around. No, that is the answer. Outstanding. Carrying on. Okay, now, here's my thoughts. If those 3 were going to be together, they would have put it there. So I think it's 3 space 1, which then gives us that 3 and gives us that 3. Well, that can't be right. That can't go there, because if it was, that would be wrong. So, because of that, that one, therefore, must be the black there, which means that's empty. So that has to be the 5. That has to be a 2. That sticks at the 1. Now let's see. We've got that there. That's going to be a 2, so we know that can't be. So that has to be. That has to be. Now, those 2 can't connect, so that has to be the 1, and that has to be the 2. Okay, so that gives us the 2 there. Because that can't reach to be the 3, so that has to go like that. That's going to be the 3 there. That's going to be the 3 there, which gives us the 2. That's going to be the 1, and that's going to be the 4, which gives us the 2 there. That gives us the 1 there for that. That gives us that and that. We know that can't be, so that has to be. So we've got 2, 2, 1. Plink that there, plink that there. 1, 2, 1, that's correct. 4 there. 2, dink, 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 dink. We had to do a couple of trial and errors, but we got there in the end. We did obviously find the correct solution, which is obviously the aim. Okay, so we definitely have a 5 piece, so that's got to go there. We've got 2, 1, that's going to go there. Now, that has to be the 3. So that's going to plink that there. So because we've got that there, let's see. So that's a 4 piece. That's a 5 piece. So that looks like it will go there. So because we know that, that can go there like that. And we know that that's going to go there, that's going to go there, that's going to go there like that. So that's our first segment. So we've got this bright piece here. I think that's going to go and connect to that. So we've got that there and that there, which gives us that, which means that has to be the 2, and that's going to be the 3s going there. So that's going to link up like that and give us a 2 by 3, which it does. Is it going to go that way, or is it going to go the other way? We'll leave it there for now until we can work it out. Right. I think that that's going to do that and go there. So if we do that there, like that. That definitely doesn't look right, does it? Well, it has to be. It can't not be. So those have to be the 3s, which means that's going to be the 4. Now, that's a space. That's a space. So that has to go there. Okay. So if that's going to be like that, that's going to be like that. So that's going to bring in that 3. Oops. That's going to bring that 3 there. So that does that. So that's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. That's got to be black. And because that's there, that's got to be like that and like that and like that. Which means that's got to be there. That's got to be a 3. So we got 3, 1. We got 1 down there, so that's got to be a 2. That's like that, and that's like that. Is that a shark? No, it's just a very ugly fish. Okay, so we have a 5 and a 1. So, so 1, 5 means that those 4 must be. So that gives us our starting point. So we know that those can't be. Okay, so we've got 3, 1 and 2. So 3 space 1 space 2. That gives us that. Which gives us those and gives us that. We know that that's got to be 4, so that's got to mold together. So 1, 1 space. Now, that can't be part of the 3. So that has to be like that. Now, so that has to be the 3. So that's going to be that. So we've got a 3, so we know that can't be. So because those 2 are there, we now know that that one has to be black. Now, because we've got that there, we know that those have to be, which that means that's going to be 2s. So that has to be there, and that's going to have to go there like that for the 4. So because we've got that, we've got the 2, 1, 1. We don't know if that's going to be there yet. So we've got that there. So let's grab that large piece and see if there's any additionals to it. Yes, there is. That goes there. So that gives us that. That's going to give us that. So we now know that that is going to go there, and that's going to go there, which means that has to go there. That has to go there. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. That's going to go there, which means that's got to go there. So that's going to go there, which means that's got to go there, which locks that off. So we've got 1, 1 that locks that off, 2, 2, and then 1, and then we've got 3 and 1, which locks that off, 2 and 2, and there we go. I'll put that there for now. It could go in one of the other places. Oh, actually, hang on. I bet it goes at the top, doesn't it? Yeah, there it goes. Right. Okie dokie. Okay, so we got a... That is a very ugly dude. Right. Okay, so that's got to be along the side. So if that's got to be along the side, we then know that that has to be the 4. That's going to go down there. That's going to go there, which means that's got to be a 4, like that. So that gives us the first bit. It's not going to be that bit, is it? Yeah, it's going to go like that. So that goes there like that, which means those must be like that. So that's going to go like that, isn't it? So that's going to go ding, 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 which means that has to be black, that has to be black, that has to be black, that has to be, and that has to be, and that has to be. Okay. So that's going to go here, which means that's black, which means that's not, and that isn't. Well, that's like that, so that's ding, ding. So that's going to be like that, and that's got to be a black, which means that by automatic has to be a black, which means that has to be, that has to be, and that has to be. There we go. Okay, well, we've got an 8. So that has to be that. Because that's there. Oh, get back there. Get in place. So we know those have to be. Which means that's probably going to be that one, which is going to be there. Which therefore means those now have to be black. So I'm going to guess that. Yeah, that's correct. So that's going to go there. And that's going to plink, 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 plink. Okay. This. Yeah, that's going to go there. So that's going to go ding, 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 ding. I don't know why it's going ding. Don't ask. So ding, ding, dink, ding, ding. Ding, ding, space. No, it's not that. It's this bit, isn't it? Yep. So that's going to go there like that, which means that one has to be a black. So that's there. So that has to be black. Which means that has to be, and that leaves, damn it. And that leaves those there. Okay, so we've got that has to go there, which means that's a 4, and that's there. That goes there and puts that there. That means that that 4 is correct. So 2, 2, 3, which puts that there like that. So that means that that has to be the 3, and because that's going up there, that's the 4, 1, 1. So that's going to go there. We've got 1 going up there. That has to be a 2, so that does that. That's like that. So those have to be correct. So if I put that there, okay, let's work this out. So that can't be, one of those has to be there. That's got to be there, so that does that. So that's going to go there like that. which means that has to be black. So that's got to go there, hasn't it? Two, dink. Well, that's 2, so that's going to be like that. That's going to be like that. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That's got to be a 1. Three space 1, 4, 3. So that has to be there like that. Jeez, that has to be like that, like that, like that, and like that. Oh, it's right there. I'm blind. Hey Skylander, how are you? Okay, that has to be there. Is that gonna... Okay, that's gonna be there like that. Oh, for fuck's sake, stop moving. Not sure if that's actually supposed to be there or not. Right, let's work this out. So we know that's there like that. Now that's got to be a 4, so that's going to go there. That's a blank. So that could be black, black, blank, black. Right. So that's a 1, so that has to be there. Excuse me. Okay, I think that goes there. Oh, I think that goes there like that. Oh, for God's sake. If that goes like that, then maybe that goes... Okay, that definitely doesn't. Nor does that go there. Right, so we've got... that's there, so that's space, so that's 3. So that's space, that's 1, so that has to be like that. So the only logical conclusion is that that is there like that. Which means that has to be black, and that has to be black. So because that's a 2, that's like that. 2 and 1, so that's like that. We got 1, 2, 1 like that, which means that's like that. Oh, did we get an achievement? I didn't see anything pop. Oh, I must have done. I just didn't see it pop. Okay. Well, yeah, we've done a segment, so I think we'll leave it there. But you generally get the idea of how this works. You can see I've already done these other puzzles. That was tutorial. That was 5 and 5, 5 by 5, 6 by 6, 6 by 6, or 7 7, and obviously that was an 8 by 8. So you've seen me do the 8 by 8 puzzles. We've still got. I'm assuming this is going to be 9v9. Yeah, let's see. So 9v9s, and then we can check the achievements here. So 9v9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 50, 50, 50, 50. So, yeah, we're getting there. I want to thank Inari PR for providing me the code. I genuinely am appreciative. So thank you. We'll see you all soon.